This is the latest, greatest Canyon Grail CF SL7 AXS gravel bike for the 2024 season. So, hello friends and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. So, Canyon has just released their second generation of the Canyon Grail gravel bike. And in this episode, I will give you the buyer's guide specifically for this Grail CF SL7 AXS gravel bike. So, let's first answer the question, who is this bike for, and also what's the retail price? So the retail price for this bike is $3,500 or 3,500 euros. And when answering the question, who is this bike for, I think you should think about it like this. So if you spend majority of your time riding on the road, but from time to time you like to go a bit off-roading, nothing too demanding, a bit of some gravel paths, then definitely you should consider this Canyon Grail CF range of the bikes. $3,500 of course, it's not a cheap bike. This is not the cheapest bike in their lineup. There is even one bike that's about $3,000, but I'm specifically focusing in this episode on this Grail CF SL7 AXS because of the wireless SRAM group set. Okay, now let's talk about the paint scheme on this bike. There are two paint schemes of the bike. One is this very classical, totally blacked out paint scheme. They call it stone grind. And then you have this beautiful quicksand paint scheme, which would definitely be my choice. I think it's a beautiful combination of kind of, light yellow sand color scheme with the combination of the totally blacked out some of the parts. So very classical combination. Again, very good that Canyon is offering at least two paint schemes on this gravel bike. I can briefly mention here that the total weight of this bike in size medium is going to be 9.8 kilograms. That's without the pedals. So if you add the pedals on top of it, I would call it about 10.1 kilograms in size medium. Listen, this is a kind of a decent bike weight for this gravel bike. For comparison, I have a hardtail mountain bike with 29-inch wheels currently, which all in ready to ride is about 12.5 kilograms. So that's just a kind of comparison. Okay, now we can dive into the specification of this Canyon Grail bike and really see what do you get for your hard-earned money. As always, we can kick off with the frame and the fork. So this is the Canyon's Grail CF SL level of the carbon fiber frame and also the CF level of the carbon fiber fork. This is the lowest level that Canyon can produce when it comes to, their high quality carbon fiber frames. Above this level, you have the CF SLX and then you have the CFR carbon fiber frames. Usually the main difference is the usage of different quality carbon fibers and method of production, and also the higher you go in the lineup, the more lighter these carbon frames are going to be. Canyon offers a 6 years warranty on their carbon frames, which is just decent in this bike industry, because when you think about like Trek Specialized Giant, you can get a lifetime warranty on their carbon frames. Also with this carbon frame, of course, internal cable routing, PF86 bottom bracket standard, 12mm through axles front and the back, and also flat mount disc brakes. And there is a lot of mounting points on this frame. So if you are into, bike packing, you can definitely mount a lot of, small bags on this frame. I'll also mention here that on the higher levels of this carbon fiber frame, on the CF SLX models, as far as I'm aware, you will get a storage in the down tube. On this CF SL, I don't believe you get a storage on the down tube. This is just something to double check with the Canyons, on the Canyons website with their customer service. But as you see here, a lot of mounting points, down tube, top tube, everything is ready for any kind of bike packing if you really want to do it. Okay, so carbon fiber frame and the fork, totally fine. I have no special complaints here. Now let's talk about the drivetrain on this bike, because this is, why I specifically chose this bike for the buyer's guide. So this is the SRAM's rival Explore, ETAP, AXS group set. So there is no front derailleur. This is a single chainring setup. So you have the SRAM ETAP shifter and the SRAM rival ETAP rear mech. So everything is fully wirelessly, no cables, which is a beauty of the SRAM fully wireless group set. So absolutely superb 12-speed group set. I have no complaints here. When we dive a bit more into some details, you can see that the cassette is a SRAM rival cassette, 12-speed cassette. The gear ratio is 10:44, and it is paired with the SRAM rival crankset. So this is a single ring crankset at the front, and the chainring is, if I'm not mistaken, 42. So you have this combination of 42 at the front and 1044 at the back. So very nice spread of gears. You can definitely, spend long days in the saddle with this bike and also climb some, steep mountains. Bottom bracket, of course, is the SRAM's press fit dub standard. I won't expect any creaking noises here. I hope that Canyon has done a good, quality control. The chain, of course, the SRAM rival D12 chain, and I would always advise you in the future to use the SRAM 12-speed chains from whatever level you want. When it comes to the braking system on the bike, here we are talking about the SRAM rival hydraulic disc brakes front and the back. They are using the SRAM Paceline rotors, so these are 160 millimeters front and the back, which is absolutely excellent. So they didn't cut corners here on these braking rotors. And again, in the future, just because of the compatibility, it is totally fine to use any of the SRAM braking rotors when you need to replace them. Now let's talk about the wheelset on this bike, because what you are getting here is the DT Swiss Gravel LN wheelset. Total weight of this wheelset is approximately 2 kilograms, 2,000 grams, and I believe that this wheelset is originally based on the DT Swiss G 1800 spline wheelset. So roughly speaking, this LN version of the wheelset is, I'm guessing, specifically for certain manufacturers, so the OEM wheelset, you can't buy it on the open market, but for the sake of comparison, this G 1800 spline wheelset would come at about $540 US. And if you see some of the technical specifications of this wheelset, so classical aluminum wheelset, hooked aluminum wheelset for the 29-inch wheels, of course, and the rim height is 25 millimeters with the internal rim width of 24 millimeters, and this is based on the DT Swiss 370 hubs, totally fine, excellent hubs. They are using this Ratchet LN18 free hub systems, of course, not the best that DT Swiss can do with their, let's say, DT Swiss 240 hubs, but this is on this price level, absolutely fine, DT Swiss 370 hubs, and of course, you can turn this wheelset into a tubeless-ready wheelset. It definitely doesn't come from the factory tubeless ready with the Canyon bike. I believe you would need to provide your own, tubeless tape, tubeless valves, and turn it into a tubeless wheelset. But all in all, excellent aluminum wheelset from DT Swiss. As I said, approximately 2,000 grams for the whole wheelset. This wheelset is wrapped in the Schwalbe G1 tires, and these tires are 40 millimeters, which is absolutely excellent, and huge air volume, a smooth bike ride, and definitely, in the future, if you are replacing the tires, keep it at 40 millimeters, or I believe that even if you want to increase a bit the tire width, you can. I believe I read somewhere or checked somewhere that you could fit up to, I think, 45 millimeters or maybe even 50 on this frame. Just again, double check with the Canyon's customer service. Okay, now let's talk about the cockpit on this bike, because it's again a very unique solution from Canyon. So this is the Canyon's one-piece cockpit, their carbon fiber one-piece cockpit. And the thing here to be aware is that, of course, since it's a one-piece cockpit, as you see here, there is not much in the face of adjustability. So you will get a certain, sizing of the handlebar and the stem depending on the size of the bike. And of course, you can't adjust anything specifically here in the future of the position of your bike. And also keep in mind that the tops of the handlebars are narrower than the bottoms, so it's kind of a bit flared, and this is designed a bit for the better aerodynamics. So this carbon fiber one-piece handlebar and the stem, of course, everything is going in the direction of more aerodynamically optimized. That's why they did it. And kind of I'm not a big fan of this one-piece handlebars and the stem, but it is what it is. And I have to just mention here that as I see the cables for the hydraulic disc brakes are at least routed a bit externally on the bottom of the handlebar, bottom of the stem, then they go into the frame. So at least if you need to, service something on the brakes, it's going to be easier, and kind of your local mechanic won't, go wild by trying to service this system. So keep that in mind, that not a lot of adjustability. And again, in the future, if you want to replace something, well, you'll have to replace the whole system with the handlebar and the stem in one go. Okay. Also, I forgot to mention that the seat post on this bike is the Canyon's carbon fiber seat post, but not anymore the VCLS one. Now they've changed it a bit to this SP0072 seat post. Again, a bit more aerodynamically optimized. They say a bit more stiffer than the previous seat post, because some of their customers were saying that it's too soft. So okay, but carbon fiber seat post, always nice to soak up some smaller road bumps. And I will mention here that the saddle is the Physique Terra Argo X5. Physique makes excellent saddles. If you don't like it, very easy to replace with your preferred saddle. I have to mention here that you might have seen on some of the original images of this bike that they are showing a lot of kind of bags that you can fit on this bike, specifically at the front of the bike's triangle. But these bags, as far as I'm aware, don't come included in the price of this bike. You would need to buy it separately. And also, as I say, just double check, because I don't believe that this level of CF SL carbon doesn't come with the down tube storage. I think only the higher levels of CF SLX and CFR come with this down tube storage. So this is just something to double check with the Canyon. All in, so what would be my advice to you if you are in the market for the gravel bike? So definitely with this retail price of $3,500 or €3,500, you should definitely shortlist this Canyon Grail CF SL7 AXS road bike. It's again an excellent offering from Canyon. They are still, trying to do their value for money bikes. And again, comparing it with some of the competitions, it is what it is. These are the current bike prices. So definitely I would say shortlist this Canyon Grail second generation gravel bike. So this is going to be it for today. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do, keep on watching, keep on liking. And as always, I will see you soon in the next episode. Cheers.